and let us study about the causes of thyroid problems. As you know, we are having so many patients with thyroid disorders, and near about 60 to 70% of the patients are females, and age of the patient may be ranging from infants to till death or the old age groups. So we have to analyze the cause from each and every cases, because there are so many causes that causes imbalance or distortion of the functions of our thyroid gland. Causes of thyroid disorders. One of the main cause of the thyroid problems, as not expected by you people, that is autoimmune one. And number two is defects in hormone receptors or post-receptive signaling mechanism. And number three is disturbed cell-mediated immunity. Number four, iodine deficiency. Number five, there may be some hereditary biosynthetic defects. Next is regarding the any defects or any diseases of the hypothalamus or pituitary. Disorders. Then goitrogens. Next is ectopic TSH secretions. Then infections. Lastly, infections. So these are the main causes of thyroid problems. Then, as we mentioned earlier, one of the main complaint of thyroid disorders in clinical practice, your patient may commonly belongs to Hashimoto's thyroiditis. That means near about 60 to 70% of your case may be Hashimoto's or AMA positive or AATPO positive cases. And these cases may be diagnosed or in the clinical lab impression as thyroiditis may be the diagnosis, but actually the basic cause here is the autoimmune disorders. What the word itself explains the autoimmune disorder? That means auto means self and immune means protection and disorder means causing disease. That means the proteins are essentially supposed to protect we people, and the immunoglobulins are nothing but the proteins. But due to so many causes, it may be genetic, it may be familial, it may be hereditary, and more than that, it may be due to environmental toxins and a list of exciting causes that causes some confusion in immunological language or the immunity level, and thereby this confusion causes self-destruction or self-distortion of the quality of the proteins or the quality of the immunoglobulins. That means we selfly destructs our body. That means those proteins which are supposed to protect us, they act against us. That means we are against ourselves. It is the simple way of explanation of autoimmune disorders. So autoimmunity is one of the main cause of thyroid disorders, other than as we think about the goitrogenics. That can be explained. Next is about the defects in hormone receptors. Number 2, defects in hormone receptors or post-receptive signaling mechanism. What is it? As you know, from the thyroid gland, as we mentioned earlier, there are so many receptors are the outer cell membrane, and the T3 or T4 carried from the thyroid gland, finally it reaches the target organ, the target cell, with the help of TBG, that is thyroid binding globulin, or albumin or prealbumin. And when these thyroid hormones reaches the cell surface, this EBG or this albumin or pre-albumin has to detach from the thyroid hormones. That means only the free thyroid hormones can either FT3. That means only the free T3 can get entry into the cell. But due to some immunological problem, there may be excess of the thyroid binding globulin, or the thyroid binding globulin may not get detached even after the thyroid hormone get attached with the cell membrane or the receptors. So even though our patient may having the sufficient amount of hormones, but it becomes useless. That means the only when the thyroid hormones get entry into the cell, then only it can act. So here the defect may be at this level, that is defects in the hormone receptors, receptor level defects. And in some patient there may not be any problem with the receptors, and here from the entry of the cell surface,